Well, it is time for sports business. On a day when you could pretty much think of Thursday night football that ended, and FC Barcelona, after 21 years, made its first move to play in the Europa League. Very first time. It was in the round of 32 against Napoli. A match that did end in a draw. That and more is what we have for you in sports business. And in today's, we shall be looking at mainly the business happening across the world. From the local, we shall also be focusing on the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing, that is in China. Well, starting it up, we start with the Uganda Premier League, as Bob Oluoch, a defender, has left Sweden for Vipers Sports Club. So this time around, Vipers Sports Club adding more to the tally, adding more players to make sure that they can compete favorably for the Uganda Premier League. If you're to look at the situations that are happening, Vipers are still currently the league table leaders here in Uganda. As the intelligent defender Bob Oluoch penned a 3-year deal at Vipers soccer clubs, that is with the Venoms. He is a former St. Mary's secondary school student, so at the St. Mary's it becomes, it's just like heading back home, so he's back home to where it all began. And he's also a former player of Kampala junior team, and also a Reshama player. He spent 8 consecutive seasons in Sweden, where he featured prominently at Ludvika FK. He also went on to play for Vacho United and later went for Lugby IF Sports Club. So mainly it is he has had a good start in Sweden. If you're to look at the professional part of it, he's played for 3 teams there in Sweden. Now he's making his way back to the Uganda Premier League and back home to the St. Mary's Stadium in Chitende. The defender Bob Oluoch is currently 25 years old and was officially declared a Vipers Sports Club player after the Venoms secured his international transfer certificate, the ITC, from Sweden on Wednesday. That was on the 16th of February 2022. The former St. Mary's secondary school student and Kampala junior team student makes his way here as he established a cult status at the club in Sweden before earning the much treasured summon to the Uganda to the Uganda Cranes, and later landing a lucrative deal to the South African Premier League club. So when you look at that, he's also played for a South African Premier League club, and he has played some professional football, pretty much now heading back to the Uganda Premier League with the Venoms, who are currently leading the Uganda Premier League table. Besides that, let's now lay our focus on to the other story, and this time around we turn our eyes to badminton. As Team Uganda finished second in team events after losing a final to Egypt. The final of the badminton in the All African Championship that was happening in Uganda came to an end in the Uber Cup Bath, as the Uganda women badminton team progressed to the final to face Egypt at the ongoing All Africa Men and Women's Championship at Lugogo Indoor Stadium in Kampala, as this followed a comprehensive 3-win victory over South Africa. And the trio of Tracy Nalwoza, Farida Shamika, Mohammad Rafi, and Husna Kopgabe triumphed at their respective games. So players were determined, and they were collectively did a great job, and they had never gone to a quarter or semi-finals. If you to look at that, the players take the due credit. They had the urge to win, but they have finished second in this particular one after losing final to the Egyptians. So the Egyptians that traveled from Egypt to Uganda finally made it to the final. But not only did they make it to the final, they made sure that they completely win that particular encounter between Uganda and Egypt. Well, badminton aside, let's have our eyes on the Winter Olympics. The Beijing Winter Olympic Games are escalating cost of Beijing Olympics. Let's have a look at the escalating cost of the Beijing Olympics. The true cost of the Beijing Winter Olympic is surfacing as this time round from a Financial Times analysis that says that the nation spent about $8.8 billion. That is the nation of China. That's more than twice China's original projected number of about $3.9 billion. Well, let's look at the construction projects first of all. The construction projects related to the Games, including venues and the Olympic Village, were originally planned to cost about $1.5 billion, as China ended up spending twice as much as that particular amount. Transportation ended up costing about $4 billion, though the IOC claimed those costs weren't necessarily counted as specific Olympics projects, but rather as general infrastructure. Let's look at this. Additional costs included making artificial snow and preparing COVID-19 preventions. As a matter of fact, when you look at the preparations of the Winter Olympics, remember Beijing were the hosts of the 2008 Olympic Games. This time around, they happen to be the host of the Winter Olympic Games, after Japan hosted the 2020 Winter Olympic Games last year. Well, with the money that is actually expected to make out of it, the escalating cost of Beijing, as at the time, the nation spent about $8.8 billion in preparations alone. That's more than twice China's original projected number, because China had projected $3.9 billion for the Winter Olympic when it comes to the preparations. However, though, it did not turn out to be that. They have so far spent $8.8 billion. Well, speaking of that, when you look at the situation here, Financial Times number vastly differs from a Business Insider investigations, which estimated a whopping $38.5 billion. And well, besides that, the true cost of the Beijing Winter Olympic Games for outpaced China's stated budget. As for whether the gargantuan price tag was worth it, ratings and social media discourse in China have been positive. As according to what Bloomberg reported, the Chinese people as well as the government are receiving in their athletes and their achievements, as well as in the successful pandemic era staging of the world's biggest athletic event. Well, when you look at the situations regarding China, in most cases China is having a challenge with the costs here. But China has always been very good when it comes to such competitions like Olympics. They win the medals, so money comes in when it comes to the athletes winning favorably, winning the gold medals and also winning these awards and winning money attached to it. So in terms of the winnings, the team is performing greatly when it comes to it, but the costs have been overweight as the cost escalated way beyond that was planned. Still with the international scene, let's talk Formula One, as reports cumulative total. As Formula One has reported cumulative total of 1.5 billion viewers in 2021. There is a record to break. As we will well noticed that in 2021, Formula One made high highlights, very huge highlights and very huge statements, as a number of people and a number of viewers were actually engaging in viewing Formula One. Well, with the situation, Formula One rests to a strong finish in 2021, gaining the attention of a cumulative TV audience of 1.5 billion, which is a 4% increase compared to the 2020 World Championship season. Globally, Formula One's average total audience per race in 2021 reached 70.3 million viewers, and the Motorsport Championship reported growth in several key markets across the globe. Well, the Netherlands saw viewership increase 81% year over year, as there was a 58% uptick in US viewership compared to the 2020 season. And France reported a 48% increase year over year in viewership, as Italy saw a 40% increase in year over year viewership as well. As Formula One season finale in Abu Dhabi drew an audience of 108.7 million viewers, a 28% uptick compared to 2020's race, And besides that, marking the most watched race of the 2021 season, as 24-year-old Max Verstappen claimed his first World Championship in a win over Sir Lewis Hamilton. Formula One seasons will resume this very year in March. That is when the first race will be happening, the Grand Prix, taking center course. New sponsors on board, new rules set on board, and hey, maybe a new winner. Who knows? Will Max Verstappen be getting his title back this very year. We shall wait and see. But we have new sponsors on board, new rules, new teams having new managers, and a lot more of new signings coming on board, new sponsorship deals, new contract extensions happening in Formula One. What else wouldn't you want for sports business? That is all in your smart means business here, as we definitely make sure we keep you up to speed. Wouldn't you want that for your Kickstarter of the day? Definitely. Okay, summing these discussions with regarding matters of sport, let's turn our eyes to boxing, as Tyson Fury and Dillian White are set to battle for special new belt unveiled by WBC in their Battle of Britain. Whew, very huge one. A specifically designed union belt will be awarded to the winner of Tyson Fury's hotly anticipated bout with fellow Brit Dillian White. Well, the Rumble is already for the WBC and Ring Magazine heavyweight titles, but the WBC have now created a commemorative one-off strap to add to these stakes. The specifically created design includes a Union Jack flag in the honor of the All-British bout, and instead of the classic green strap WBC belt, the Union belt has a slick white strap that will be wrapped around the waist of either Fury or White. Yes, Dillian White. So when you look at this situation, the unique belt will be presented as a special trophy to the win of the highly anticipated fight between WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury and WBC interim heavyweight champion Dillian White, as the union belt extols special elements to celebrate and commemorate the United Kingdom through boxing. A date is also yet to be agreed for the British Showdown that is set to happen, but it will be in the UK, and April 23rd is likely to be that particular spot on the calendar when we shall be seeing these two titans get on bound with the boxing. Well, away from boxing, let's try to look at what is going to be happening across the European continent when it comes to football, and some of these fixtures. Like I said earlier, Europa League ended with the fact that Napoli shared this post with FC Barcelona at the Camp Nou. The Camp Nou was fully packed. However, a goal coming in from Ferran Torres was the only one that could be possible for Napoli and for the FC Barcelona match between Napoli and Barcelona for UEFA Europa League. Well, beyond that, as you could definitely see, that was the knockout stage of the round of last 32, and we shall be waiting to see if whether the second leg will see FC Barcelona bow out at a very early stage. Now let's look at the Uganda Premier League matches and how best we're going to be having some of those fixtures that will be happening over the weekend. Now, when you look at the situation that will be happening, starting it off with Friday afternoon, UPDF will be at home to Vipers. Ginger SS will be at home to Express FC, as Arua Hill FC will be taking on Arua Hill FC took on Bull FC. So, well, when you look at that, Saturday we'll see Kampala City Council Authority host on Duparaka, mighty match that one ought to have to see there, as Gaddafi will be taking on Mbarara City FC. That will be on Sunday the 20th of February. Standings of the Uganda Premier League, Vipers still on top of the Premier League with 39 points. Coming up second is KCC FC after the reopening of the second round of the Uganda Premier League matches. 17 matches played so far, as KCC FC seated in second place with 36 points, 3 points behind the leaders in Vipers, and then in third place is URA FC, 34 points, and in the fourth place is Bull FC, 30th. However, defending champions Express FC have 29 points, seated in the fifth place in there. That is as far as the Uganda Premier League is concerned. Well, let's turn our eyes to the English Premier League then, to see what is happening from there in regards to matters to do with football. The English Premier League will also be happening throughout the weekend as well, as we'll be looking at how teams will be faring and which teams will be entertaining which team in the English Premier League as it does resume over the weekend. Well, but besides that, when you look at what is happening from the world of the English Premier League, a number of matches, Cristiano Ronaldo getting back to scoring ways over midweek, as Manchester United went back to winning ways when it comes to the English Premier League. But besides that, a lot more of the news that are making headlines is that Pep Guardiola came out and revealed that Liverpool, still high competitors in the English Premier League, even with the matter that they've been ruled out so far, with the fact that Manchester City are favorably going to win this particular one with 12 points ahead. But when you look at the English Premier League fixtures, West Ham United will be taking on Newcastle in the early kickoff match. Arsenal will be at home to Brentford, that is at the Emirates. Some of those key matches that will be played in the English Premier League that you ought not to miss. And then you also, Brighton will be taking on Burnley, Liverpool up against Norwich City, Southampton will be taking on Everton, as Aston Villa will be taking on Watford. Crystal Palace will be taking on Chelsea, and Man City later on Saturday the match of the day will be Man City taking on Tottenham at the Etihad. Leeds United and Man United will be heading on Sunday, as Wolves will also be taking on Leicester City on that particular day of Sunday. Well, standings of the English Premier League, Man City still in top place after 25 matches played, 63 points. Liverpool after 24 matches played with 54 points, with 54 points rather. Chelsea in third place with 47 points after 24 matches played. Man United after 25 matches played with 43 points. West Ham after 25 matches, 41 points. Arsenal after 22 matches having 39 points. So Arsenal still have the opportunity to maybe qualify for the top four. Well, with that, let's have a look at the situation regarding driving business. We've been having a roller coaster ride since Monday, and clearly we're doing this more and more often here on Smart 24 TV. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. Add me up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Joram Paul Sonko. You can as well add us up on our social media platforms, that is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Smart 24 TV. The website is www.smart24tv.com. If you want to advertise with us, we are located plot 42 Nile Avenue as you bring your businesses. Ours is to drive the businesses. Till then, it's a goodbye from the old team production, and all details regarding business here on Smart Means Business. Coming up after is Marcelino taking you through financial markets. Keep it Smart 24.